This is PNG News Media coming back at you again with another edition of the Concrete and Steel Chronicles. Today I have a guest, Quake Fisher. He's a Crip from California who did 17 years in the California prison system. He's going to be telling you about his experiences. So Quake, so you did 17 years. Now, what was the time period that you was locked up?
To 1992, 2011.
Okay. And during those years, like what level yards were you on?
Level 4 for about the gist of it. Did about 12 years level 4 and 5 level 3.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm from the state of Illinois, and our system is totally different. Now, from my understanding, California has like prison has like just a real high level of prison politics. Can you kind of explain that politics? Like, for example, when someone comes in the joint, what's the predominant factor of how they group up? Is it by their race, or is it by their street gang, or something else?
Yes, by predominantly by city. Your gang what area you grow from. I mean they've had race. I mean you could every once in a while have somebody that's not black partaking in like hanging with like a Mexican gang, or a black person that can go be with some Mexicans. It's very rare, but predominantly it's blacks, Mexicans, white. Everybody got their own sets, but it's more about your city you come from, your area, geographical area. From
Okay.
LA to Inland Empire to San Diego to stuff like that. San Bernardino, it's all like that. But most of the time is where you from, and you just fall into certain categories. Big old diagram of different branches and cliques and hoods and all that stuff. But it comes down to predominantly where you from, and then race really is not that there's not that many people that's whites that's in a black gang or blacks that's in white gang or like something like that. But nevertheless, some of them do exist at times. It's very rare, but predominantly it's about what city you from, what hood you from, your gangs.
Okay. Now you were a Crip. Where were you a Crip from?
I was from Rubidoux Project Crips in a place called IE Inland Empire. So it's like 60 miles east of 60 miles east of LA. So I was so we were in I was in a car called the IE car in an Empire, and then there was like I said there was LA gangs or whatever. But I was from Rubidoux Project Crib, was like the original one of the two original hoods from the Inland Empire areas. It was Eastside 1200s and Rubidoux Project Cribs, the two original hoods. So I was from one of those, from the original hood of Inland Empire. Now it's like 1,000 gangs in Inland Empire in Rubidoux, and even in Rubidoux there's different gangs now. That's just spread about like wildfire. So it's just everything. It's all kind of gangs out here now. It's way different now that I'm out.
Now, so when you were, so you said you was with the IE car, but like, so how was your relationship with other Crips, like say Crips from LA or Compton, or did you all get along inside, or was it still kind of like street beef once you got inside?
Now it kind of settles because there ain't no guns in there, so it kind of settles down. Everybody, it's more calm there, unless it's like somebody you run into across somebody that personally, did something to you or did something to a loved one of yours or whatever. But for the most part, everybody is whatever. You see each other and go about their way. Everybody got their own little cliques and go in their hoods. But some people have allied gangs, so they be in there hanging with each other, different allies and different cars. The LA car, the Crip car, the Blood car, the Damu car, the Pyru car, all different kind of cars. The Long Beach car, the Compton car. And then once you get the Compton car, then they break up and they got different things from the all Comptons don't get along with each other. So everybody got their different cliques, but for the most part, everybody just tolerates each other. But most of the time, all the dudes that are like really like getting along with each other, or like got respect or heard about each other on the street, or got reputations. Because now everybody's just so spread about, because everybody's migrated to different cities on the street, so they know about a lot of people from a different area before they get to the pen, because they've been out to LA before. LA dudes been out to Riverside before, IE before. So you get in prison, and then you still in your own cars, but you get along with different people, and for the most part. But some people just stick to themselves. Some people, because you got different levels of rank as far as your reputation goes. So those people usually know more people than the ones who just like young in the game. They really just don't even stick to their own homeboys, whatever, out inside there. But yeah, it's like it's just a big old all-star team of all these gangbangers from different places, all now in prison. And strongest survive, and some play politics more than the others. Some try to just stay out the way. It's crazy. Like when I came, like it's fascinating now, because like when I went in there, when I first went in there, like there was people from IE in there, but it wasn't that many from my hood per se, to the prison yard that I arrived at. So when I got there, I remember running into like two big old giant dudes. One was Spook from Lebanon Hood, and West Coast Covina. He's from West Coast Covina in Hood. He was a shot caller, and Big U. And it's crazy now, because like looking back now, when I first met Big U, and he's like, "What's up, youngster?" And like he was one of the first ones that embraced me. But Big U, I thought he was like my age, but he's a little older. Then to find out, fast forward to all these years of being around Big U, then to come home, and he's paroled too. Finally, he did a long period of time now, but now he's like running everything in LA right now. He's like all over the place. T.I.'s best buddy, and then to find out that the character that Tiny Lister on Friday, Debo,
Mm-hmm.
Debo actually studied Big U's, hung with Big U back in the days, so he could learn his character, because he was basically trying to play Big U's character, because Big U carried that character as a bully. And I'm like, all this time I find out all this stuff later on down the line, but I just thought it was just, some dude in there, like, like he just was cool with me and embraced me. I didn't know all along this dude was like a bigger individual
Okay.
than I knew, and it's crazy. Now, 17 years later, I talked to him online on Instagram and stuff, and just in all that, this dude's like a big celebrity now.
Okay.
It's,
Okay.
and it's a trip, like. But yeah, so it's just like when you come in, so it's just like some people you draw to people. Some people's your energy's cool with some people, some is not. So those are the ones you stay away from. And some people, depending on your energy and your personality, you'll draw to some. Like I said, when I first got there, he was one of the first dudes that embraced me, even though he was from LA, and they, running rolling 60 Crips, and he didn't try to make me leave my hood to hang with his hood or nothing, but he was just I was just a young dude, and he was trying to give me the heads up on a lot of stuff, and just trying to lace me, because I was fresh up in there.
Okay.
So it was interesting being like first going up in there. Like I say, the first, like probably like the first day I entered the building, they had a big old assault, and some dudes got all cut up or whatever by some Mexicans. Like the first day I walked in that building, so it was a real awakening the first day up in there. So
Okay.
yeah.
Were these blacks attacked by Mexicans?
Yeah, with some Mexicans, and got into it with some black dudes. I didn't know about, like, well, they were Bloods. I guess I just got there, and I was going into the cell, and then there was like a big old distraction or argument outside by the phones, and then when the police ran over to where everybody was at trying to break up stuff, all turned out that was just a diversion, because everybody ran to that one side, and there was like two Bloods on the phones on the other side, still on the phones. And that's when some other Mexicans ran over there and just started stabbing them up,
Mm-hmm.
while the police were looking for all over there, thinking they were just trying to break up a fight. That was just a diversion to get everybody on one side of the building while they go over there. And then like this one dude, he was a tear tender, a blood dude. He had a broom at my door, because he was like basically like finding out what's my name, where I'm from. I just walked in with all my property, and basically doing this little like their own kind of little screening or orientation at the doors for everybody because they be seeing people come in. So I guess he just wanted to find out who I was and this and that. So while he's talking to me, and then all that stuff happened, and then everybody like get down, and dude get down. And he's watching his boys, the other black dudes, get all cut up on on their phones, and he yelled to the police, "Hey, you got some over here! You got some over here!" He didn't get up and go help. He just like got their attention for him. The other police like, what? And they ran over there and saw it. That was like my first day there. I like, wow. So it was interesting. I was
Now,
French.
now speaking of that, so now when you were in, was that common? Was there a lot of beef between the blacks and Mexicans?
Hell yeah, a lot of beef. Because the numbers is all out of whack in there. Because back it was like 6-1 Mexicans to blacks. So, and they're more organized, very organized. You know, they run by one unit. We're blacks. You know, we all over the place. Everybody got their own different cliques. Everybody got their own different crews. Whereas the Mexicans were just one gang, like the Serranos, you know, and they fell under one roof. And even though they had Mexicans and they had LA Mexicans, and, you know, yeah, they had their different, you know, cliques, whatever, IE over there, LA over there. But at the end of the day, they're all just Serranos. So when one person said move, they all moved. Where blacks, it was just, you know, blacks is all over the place. Excuse me, with that, can't nobody tell me what to do mentality. So they didn't really have one person dictating everybody.
Okay. So I want to explore that some more. So say for example, like the blacks get hit by the Mexicans, the Serranos. Would there be retaliation, or would it be hard to get the brothers to retaliate, or what would usually happen after the incident like that?
It depends on who they hit. First of all, it usually depends on who they hit and how they did it and why they did it. All these different factors come into play. So it's like I say, like matter of fact, like that one time back in the days, that incident right there. When I got there, that was just what was going on at that time was blacks and bloods, no Mexicans and bloods going at it with each other. But like the Crips was staying out of it. They're like, you know, they weren't like it wasn't black on Mexican yet, black on brown. It was just bloods that was their thing. That was their problem. Only like later on did and only after later on did the Crips decide to join in, and once they decided to join in, that's when the beef was ended. Because for a while, every chance we came off lockdown, Bloods and Mexicans was trying to take off on each other, but mostly it was the Mexicans. The Bloods act like they really didn't want no problem. They just wanted it to be over with. Cause like I said, it'd be so many of the Mexicans, but everybody knew if all the blacks were together, it would be a whole different ball game. Especially since it was like the Crips was way more populated than the Bloods at that time on that yard at least, because every yard has a different makeup. But at that place, it was just predominantly Crips. But there's times when it goes all black and all versus all Mexican. I've been in a couple of riots where it was just it didn't matter if you was Crip or Blood because they didn't give at that time. Mexicans didn't care. Sometimes they just take off. They had the green light and the order from like the whole from the pen. Some dudes like you know what I'm saying on death row making a call saying that he wants Mexicans, all these people to just take off on blacks on a certain day or something. You know, and blacks don't even be knowing, so they're not saying take off on Crips or take off on Blood. They somehow just take off on blacks. Period. So those are the times, you know, where everybody was involved, and then there's times, like I say, they just be certain hoods dealing with beefing with Mexicans, but for the most part, blacks really don't want that many. That blacks didn't want the riots and all that stuff, and them trying to the beefs to go on that long because it was just too many of them. You know, there was too many of them, and plus the police be in cahoots with the Mexicans and in cahoots with the white boys. You know, you're already up against it. You're on so many levels. So a lot of blacks really deterred from having any funk with the Mexicans. But, you know, sometimes you have no choice.
Right. So it wasn't that the blacks were scared, just that the deck was stacked against them?
Yeah, deck is stacked. Deck stacked as hell. And plus a lot of times it's just like deck is stacked in so many ways. I mean, for example, like I remember when I went to the shoot, when I went to the hole for a while, definitely everybody in there, all the black dudes is in there for like for having weapons, gun weapons, yeah, weapons or drug charges, and and the Mexicans they was all in there for assault, like for cutting somebody up or something. And like the thing was with the blacks, the reason why blacks was getting caught with the weapons because blacks were always like every time it'd be like rumors of a riot or some shit that might happen or something, or some rumors coming down from another queen that it might be on down here because they tripping over it up north or something. And blacks have weapons on them, and that's who all the police want to pat down. They always want to pat down the blacks, and blacks are already outnumbered. Blacks don't even run, we wouldn't even carry that on them because that's like another fucking case. So you walking around, you're already in prison. Now you're forced to possibly catch another case because now you got to walk around with this thing to protect yourself because there is way more of them, and you don't even know if it's true or not, and you don't want to be just relying on just your hands when there's like 4 or 5 Mexicans with knives on them. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have that on them. So when they do all these, when there's rumors of war, you always see the police always patting down the blacks or going in their cells looking for shit. Like they're trying to do their part to help make cripple blacks more by getting in, or even people that they knew that had the reputation of being somebody that would have a knife, because some dudes had basically the rumors of the soldiers. They would go out, always keep an eye on them first and foremost, while the Mexicans barely even be getting dealt with or harassed or none of that. It's just they're always in cahoots, and they try to justify how it was by saying blacks are out of control. They didn't have nobody. The guards didn't like the fact that they couldn't have nobody they could go talk to, and that one person could go tell everybody else and keep them in line and keep them respected. While the Mexicans, they had it like that to where if somebody was disrespecting the guard or whatever, the guards could go talk to a certain person, and that person would put them youngsters in check and all this different shit. They liked that they had structure, and they disliked the fact that blacks didn't have that, and blacks was all rude or disrespectful, or So what they would do is just like, okay, we're gonna help this side, So that's what they would do, and so they're basically crippling in us, knowing that we're already up against it like 6-1. And like I say, blacks is the most unorganized, and so they just take advantage of that. So as long as we stayed disorganized, we were more vulnerable than we should be. But yeah, we're that. So the Mexicans hung with the white boys, and it was always stacked against us.
Okay, but now one particular instance, you said when the Crips decided to get into it, that's when the Mexicans backed off. Was
They
because
backed off. Yeah, because what happened was, matter of fact, it was Big U and them. Big U and them was on the top of the tower in the building when the Mexicans messed around and took off on the blood. It was still beefing, but what they did it near some Crips. That was kind of like violation, you know what I'm saying? Because you're in my space. If y'all got y'all little beef or whatever, get them when y'all see them in their own little over there by their blood wake pile, or and the blood's working in the kitchen or wherever. Get them when they're just over there by themselves. If y'all got y'all little wars going on, but they put the Crips in an uncomfortable position because they were like hanging out right there, and so you're basically bringing an incident near them in their private spot. So that was that's like a violation, because you making them feel threatened, because they could have been like feeling that you was coming for them too, or the police could come and pepper spray or start shooting the M14 at that area, and the Crips could get shot, but because you over there taking off on somebody that was just by them, so you're disrespecting their space with your bullshit, right? Y'all's little drama. So now the Crips is like, now y'all was y'all was wrong for that. So now it's like, okay, we with them now. So then because that's the message, that's all they were relying on. That's why they were really kept going after the Bloods, because they knew the Bloods didn't have that backing. But then when that happened, Big U and them was like, that's everybody stay ready. And then the word got out that we was we was riding with them next time shit popped. And it just died. So because usually when it's like they know that we're all in it together, though, Mexicans are good with that ambush shit. They don't like just saying, "Oh, it's on." They'll try to catch you slipping when it's like when I was, for example, like when I was in got caught up coming back from Chow one day at a different prison, and the Laker game was a Laker playoffs or whatever. I forgot, the Lakers was playing the Nets, I think, in the finals, and we coming back for Chow, and some dude, while we walking around the Chow hall, the yard to go to the Chow, leaving the building to walk the yard to get to the Chow hall, some youngster, I guess, was arguing with some Mexicans and just fired on the Mexican while they were walking to Chow. Everybody else don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Next you know, Mexicans just come running in the building. There's just like 4 or 5 blacks like getting water before they go back in their cell, to watch the rest of the game. You just got a large amount of messages running in, just screaming, making noise, talking about it's on, and they sliding knives from out their cell doors to their boys, and it was just all bad because wasn't that many blacks, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, shoot, it was like 3-on-1, 4-on-1, and the blacks didn't even have shit, and the Mexicans had knives. Who was getting sliced up? It was just ugly, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it's just like one person could just affect so many people. One little young dude. It's just crazy how that works in there. And if you ain't ready, like I said, a lot of people don't be ready for it because a lot of people being there really just trying to do their time and get up out of there, instead of being involved in the politics and the war. That's why, like, a lot of Mexicans started getting tired of that too. A lot of them fools started PCing up because they didn't want to be a part of that shit no more. They didn't want to have to just stop their whole program or life and stop seeing their family and kids or get constant visits because they were getting a call from the other PN saying, y'all got to take off on the blacks tomorrow morning. And a lot of messages be like, man, I'm not want to. So they just started PCing up a lot. So that's how, like, a lot of prisons yards became more sensitive need yards. It was more sensitive need yards. By the time I came home, it was more PC sensitive need yards than it was general population yards. They just took over. It's crazy. And it's like really like that now. Now shit, it's like less general population yards than it is PC yards. Now the sensitive need yards is just full of everybody now. And a lot of people, they ain't be telling. A lot of people just be PCing up just because they don't want to be involved in the politics. But then now there's politics in sensitive need yards. So it's like, that's crazy. Now you got snitches politicking amongst each other and pedophiles politicking amongst each other. That's just, it took on everything's just changed up nowadays. It's just way crazy than how it once was to how it is now. But yeah, so
Now something else I asked you. So like now, so with the Crips, was it just like, so there was no one shot caller? So that means there was probably multiple shot callers.
yeah, multiple shot caller. Like I was once upon a time, I was a shot caller for the IA card, depending on certain yards I was at. And then you have like shot caller for like the the gangster cars, shot caller for the rolling the 60 neighborhood cars, like the 60s and all them. Shot caller from gangsters, shot caller from the IE, shot caller from Long Beach. About 6 or 7 dudes that are shot callers, whatever. And everybody just talk to each other and get along and try to keep things to a minimum, have conversations amongst each other. In case something happened, they can just go talk to each other, whatever, and try to keep stuff, keep stuff in control. Whereas, and then like I said, in the Mexicans, they usually just be just one.
Okay.
And they would, I guess, the people from another place higher up, like the Mexican mafias or whatever, they would designate what person was the shot caller for the whole Mexicans on their whole yard. And that's how it worked. Then
Now, go ahead.
but no, go ahead.
Now I want to say, okay, so now I understand, like you said, you got the street gangs, like the Rolling 60s and stuff like that, Crips. But is there a certain what's that other stuff like being under paperwork, like blue notes and stuff like that? What
Oh,
can you talk
yeah.
about that?
Well, they were around for a minute. I don't know how, you know, when I was in there, they were like kind of like fading off because a lot of people saw them as like, turning on their own neighborhoods, kind of. Because if you saw, like, if you was like paperwork, I don't know, back in the days, people tried to present me with paperwork, but I didn't sign up for it. But if you sign up for paperwork, all of a sudden you're like basically choosing to put another group of people more important to your people. Because if you're all under paperwork, it's like an all-star team. If you all on paperwork, you all from different hoods. LA, it don't matter. LA, San Diego, all y'all on paperwork though. You like the C notes and all, blue notes and all that. You all on one paperwork. So now, if shit hits the fan, like you could be told to go stab or take off with somebody from your own hood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
It's crazy. So a lot of people frowned upon that blue paperwork shit, and like a lot of people started pulling away from it because people was gonna like starting to go to war with them because they feel like what I'm saying, you like y'all enemies amongst y'all become enemies too now. So a lot of people frowned upon that, and those who were on paperwork were very like it was like they turned this they had become like more of a secret society and going into hiding once that started happening like that because it like I said, these are the yards I were on because keep in mind different yards have different philosophy, different just different storylines going on. But for the most part, where I was at, that's how it was. Like a lot of people didn't play with that paperwork shit because like they felt like you was because like there was some good people that got stabbed by some paperwork people. So a lot of people frowned upon that paperwork, and like even the dudes that were like reputables that was sneaking and being on paperwork but same time like playing like what I'm saying shot caller or somebody or like a big figure from these hoods they were like getting exposed and they had to like separate themselves from that and it was just like I said the paperwork thing was very complex like I just really stayed away from it but I was exposed to it to a degree but that they were they kind of like I said they disappeared because there was too many people that was anti paperwork. So they had to like sneak around and move more in silence, at least until they get to a place where it's predominantly a lot of them. But a lot they didn't usually be a lot of them at one place, and plus you wouldn't really know who was on it. But you had rumors and you had idea of some of the dudes who were on paperwork because usually it was the dudes that had been around for a long ass time in prison. It was usually them, what I'm saying, creating that because they were trying to create their own new kind of, camaraderie with each other because all them fools been down for like 15, 20 years and all that stuff, where all these other people, they coming and going, and a lot of people that came in, even if I'm from Rubidoux or something, it'd be somebody coming in from Rubidoux. I've been in here for like 15 years and people coming in, I don't know these new people and they probably have a different mentality. And like youngsters really don't like following suit and listen to the next person. So you don't want them to come in being reckless and fucking up your program. So you're like, you're linking up with the people that have been around forever that that you've been hanging with only from yard to yard, prison to prison for 15 years. Because that's your society now. That's your life now. I don't know them street dudes. So that's another reason why how they created that paperwork shit like that. Because they was creating their own little movement within. You know, man.
so
But
the paperwork groups were like blue notes, the Cripin side of the organization, and the C notes.
yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't remember all of them. I just knew the big like as being a crowd. I remember the blue notes and C notes, whatever. Other than that, I really didn't know too many. Like
Okay.
just like the BGF and all that, they weren't really that prevalent around northern the prisons I was at. I knew they existed, but there wasn't too many BGFs running around where I was at. You didn't see too much of that. And so, but they existed, but you didn't see too much of that. I was just like, shit, yeah, you just didn't see too much BGS running around. But there's probably most of them was up north anywhere or doing serving death row. So they never was on any main lines. Wasn't too many BGS and then running around on main lines for you to even know about. Them they were predominantly, running shit from sales on death row and all that stuff. I'm saying Quentin, so they never even touched the lines. So I wouldn't have met them anyway. But most of them were like the old heads. They resided BGF and them. They all resided in, like I say, in death row sit prisons and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is that true for the other big four prison gangs like MA, NF, and AB that you don't see too many of them walking around?
Yeah, they predominantly was like I said, they kept them usually like in Pelican Bay, places like that. They don't really put them on. They kept them out the way mostly. That's why I say when I tell you like people will get a shot, a order from somewhere else. Those were where it came from, like people like that was in prisons far away from everybody else. That they just had rank, been down a long time, or ran things before they got locked up. Those are the ones who were like the higher up people. But a lot of people didn't really pay no mind to it. Like I said, it's just so different now. It's like it's prison ain't no different than how the streets is like like Chicago or something, for example. Them youngsters ain't answering to nobody. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they pay, give respect to certain people and this and that, but there's a lot of, renegades, shall I say. They're not trying to hear that shit from older people or never. This is their time now. That's how they, and that was like, and not talking about how it is now, but that was like the beginning. Like that was like the beginning when it first started manifesting, where you could see the change of the guards. How like youngsters was like, they not trying to hear nobody, just pay no respect to nobody, and respect and home training just was going out the window. So it was just way different now. And it got to the point where,
Was that across the board with all the groups, with the not just with the blacks? Was it across the board that all the different factions aren't paying homage to the old people as much?
Well, this on a different level. I mean, you can see it within the whites and Mexicans, but it's far different than how it is with the blacks. The blacks is, like I said, it's just a small microcosm of the street. You still see the Mexicans and they'll still have because they get dealt with more because they still very structured, and they're very more unified. So they still have a hold to a degree to where you have to follow your protocol and climb your channel because it's way different. But it happens. Everybody has that, some renegade shit going on. But for the most part, nothing was as worse as blacks. It's just like now with politics, like just in real life politics. I mean, just like the black vote for say, you know what I'm saying? Like, see, the black vote, ain't nobody under no one roof. Where everybody's all over the place. But and but it's different. Like with the other races, some they all really just But they do that shit too at the end of the day as a means of survival though, because they know power is numbers, and they fear blacks because they know what blacks have potential of doing. Everybody knows it. That's why even now people kick and scratch and try to sabotage all this black unity. Like matter of fact, tomorrow we have a big ass thing tomorrow in San Bernardino. I know you probably heard of San Bernardino County. It's like it's the most violent, shit, and that's IE, that's my folks, so so we have a big old Increase the Peace March tomorrow, whatever. It's Black History Parade tomorrow. But they're gonna try to do this, unity thing, and everybody like shitting on this, saying it's not gonna have work and this and that, but it's just like, but when they do start showing that type of signs and stuff, people come in and sabotage it. Right now they have like serial killers. Right now, like they talking about, there's like literally right now, like a gang of a carload of dudes that's running around that's just been killing people lately. Nobody knows who they are. It's like police can't find nobody, but they got cameras of people they can on video where people, doing stuff trying to sabotage it. Like trying to take out here killing people, but they don't know who's doing it. But we don't know who's doing that shit. Just like in Chicago, when Chicago tried to create peace We don't know who. It could be anybody with a white person with a black face or anything, creating this disruption of people trying to unite. And that's how it is in the prison in the same way. They see people trying to, get their along. People will try to like sabotage that because they know that together we're too much for anybody. And so that's one of the reasons I think that's one of the reasons why they would stay together more so out of fear and protection of their own, trying to stay, safe, by staying together with each other while we're just all over the place. But I've seen, people when we united in prison, they all of a sudden just start raiding house, doing cell searches and shit. When they see everybody's getting along and all the Bloods and Crips is all on some new black woke power shit, and all of a sudden we're getting harassed all the time. Or they'll come in all of a sudden you got some dumbass incident that makes the blacks beef with each other, and people fall for it, and it's just constant cycle, and it just gets worse and worse. So I don't, but yeah, they knew what they were doing. They had to stay together, and like I said, then they're already arrogant and cocky because they got the help of the police. Some of the police even started getting mad at the Mexicans and whites because they felt that the white Mexicans and whites were getting too big-headed because they had so much pull with the staff and administration to where they could even talk to the regular COs in the old kind of way because they had so much pull with the lieutenants and sergeants and shit because they were in cahoots with them to keep us in check. Wow. It's crazy, man. Write a book about that shit. That's just deep, man. Man.
You're always outnumbered, always outgunned.
Yeah, and we'll be aware of it and everything, but we still can't just come up bringing it inside of us and just make it happen. But now I think it's more and more taking place. Like I said, I ain't been in the hellhole in a minute, but I see that like trying to take place out here now, to where like now more people just focus on just money. So that money, the green is like starting to like stymie a lot of the red and blue, So that's kind of like I see a lot of like Bloods and Crips now. Everybody, be hanging with each other because everybody about getting money together now. So it's not like we don't have all that gang shit in California. Is not like how it once was. Now we see it all, better than the spread to other states. We see it in other states. Now California really ain't like that. We ain't having all them gang violence, all that in the streets. So if it's like that on the streets, then now it's cool in the pen. Because I was always felt, that's why I was like pulling out of the gang banging shit. Because I thought that was, when I got in there, I immediately seen the contradictions. It's like, here we are, we on the streets, like full-blown banging, beefing with each other. Then we all got in prison, and we weren't best friends now, but we were cool. We knew how to tolerate each other's existence. You know what I'm saying? So you could why would you come do all that, go catch cases doing shit to other blacks on the street, get life, and now you want to be in there, the same niggas from that same gang or whatever, you cool with them now, but you got life though. But you kill when they humble, but y'all cool now. You know what I'm saying? Now you mad talking about the man, but now you see these white folks and the Mexican folks and the other folks just, having a day way with us. When we could have just been doing this shit on the street. You know what I'm saying? Tolerating each other on the street. But it's violent as hell out here, like I say, but it's not like that in LA that much no more. Now we're only problem is Marina Valley, where I'm at, we have that, we have the gang shit going on right now. And then, San Bernardino, IE's right now is the place where doing all the gang problem is now. Where LA is like, them fools out there just getting money, like Big U and them out there now, like, they still, with the function and they got all the resources and everything, but they do a lot of, they be all the different states now and linking up. Now you got everybody with, everybody's making money now. They got the Cripin blood Kool-Aid drinks they selling, and it's just all kind of shit now. The blood rappers, the Crip rappers, and we ain't really gang bangers, but there is just a market now. They done turned it into a marketing thing now, more so than it is the real thing. So now you don't have that type of element in prison no more. Or everybody now you go in prison, they all just hanging with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that much beef with Mexicans now, because like blacks actually be fucking with each other now. They cool. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get chill more. So when you got people that's all kicking it with each other, and a lot of them, these young riders, Now it's you don't the Mexicans got to be more at bay, so it's not as wild as it is back like it was back then. So that's a good thing if you got to go if you got to go in there, but yeah, it's always been that divide and conquer shit, man.
Right.
So and we'll be
Now,
conscious of it and still play along with it.
okay. A couple more things I want to hit on. We got a few minutes left. Okay, now you mentioned being under paperwork, but I understand in California, paperwork can also mean something else.
Telling,
Like everybody
telling,
has their own personal paperwork.
telling. We're dealing with that, man. You just said I got chills right now, man. We're dealing with that bad right now.
Okay.
Bad. I just went to a funeral and got somebody just texted me some paperwork on an individual from my hood, and it's like everybody it's back because nobody like all these youngsters they be doing all this crazy shit out here and all that, but nobody want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But they doing all this crazy ass stuff. So now when they go do all that crazy stuff and get caught up, they telling quick. And now it's like that's like that 6ix9ine stuff. How people just a lot of people feel like that's not a bad thing, but or they feel like they could do it and somehow, some way, not be dealt with because a lot of people don't deal with snitches and all that like they used to. Nowadays they just talk behind your back, look at you funny, depending on who you what area you in or what kind of people you're dealing with. But for the most part, a lot of people are on paperwork out here now. They even got a lot of people. It's just so it's like you could go somewhere and like it's bad. It's bad. Like I've been 17 years in prison. I've had all these cases for life twice, all that different shit, and no paperwork. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays you gotta do so. I could go everywhere. I go anywhere. I ain't worried about nobody saying, "Oh, I'm pulling out no paperwork." And like my name was my name with some statements and quotations from the streets to or even in prison. Because in prison, I had to deal with a lot of staff members because I was a Mac rep at one point in time. So I was like the whole. I don't know if you watched that movie that's on that For Life with 50 Cent on ABC. I was like that dude. I was a
Okay.
back rep. I went and talk to the warden all the time, and you know, I was like him though. Like, you're not, I'll help you alleviate situations, but I'm not never giving you no information. Don't ask me questions about no inmates or none of that shit. But I'll help you try to alleviate situations amongst because I knew the other shot callers, the Mexicans, and the Mexicans don't like me because I would carry myself different and I know how to talk to them. They didn't like dealing with a lot of blacks because a lot of my boys and Mexicans are racist and they don't like dealing with a lot of blacks, but they know how to conversate with me, and so so they even vote. They all had to vote for me to be their Mac rep. All so it was a ballot. So anyway, it's like now everybody's on. So it's just a lot of people on paperwork. So that's why I was saying. Remember, I was talking about them yards where it's more sensitive need yards. That's what they call them instead of they used to call it PC protective custody. Then they changed it to sensitive needs because you was getting a lot of celebrities going that weren't telling. You were getting a lot of people that are just getting or they just wanted to leave the yard. They didn't people that actually didn't tell on people, but just wanted they needed protection or this and that. So they called them sensitive need yard SNY. So when they did that, that actually makes it more comforting for people to compromise their self entail because they know now you're not going to a prison where it's like all these dudes waiting for you talking about let us see your paperwork and they're gonna get you. Now they're sending you to a gang of prisons where it's a lot of them just like you there. So if there's a lot of places like that to have set up a structure for where you could be cool, calm in there and have a place to lay your head and be like amongst your peers, people are gonna do it more and more. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's been happening. So now it's like so many people are on paperwork, and it's crazy. So like now it's like but yeah, a lot of people on paperwork more than they used to be, and it's like so now it's like everybody just I think that's another reason that's why it kind of brought crime down to a degree, low key. I think that actually played a part in bringing a lot of crime down because a lot of dudes like they're in this game just step out the game because like you just setting yourself up unless you go be just doing shit by yourself. it's funny you said that. Like I said, my boy just sent me another video of this dude rapping about that in a little song on YouTube video, and he's like, they talking about how that's just like it's so much. So now dudes are making songs trying to talk about, well, y'all can tell we going after your mom and stuff. Cause now, but that people just saying that because they trying to like do anything to try to scare fools to deter them from doing it so much because it's out of control now. Like and everybody, it's informants and all kind of shit out here now. So it's like, it's best to just leave that whole game alone because it's very prevalent out here. That paperwork stuff is strong, and like I said, I don't see how anybody would still want to even partake in any of this stuff right now. The way this shit is, like I said, it's crazy right now. People will tell on you in 2 seconds in a heartbeat. With no shame. Them drugs, everybody on them drugs now. Everybody, and the youngsters be on like 5 different drugs. Back in the days, they used to use just the smokers, the coke, the crackheads. They try to get information from a crackhead and stuff. But now you got youngsters that's heavy in the game, banging and around everything and see everything. But then that's on like Molly and any kind of drug you can name, lean, they all on that shit. So they go do a crime. They need that in their system. They like having withdrawals and all that shit. And you trying to tell me that I'm finna do life? You know what I'm saying? Them fools get this yapping right then and there immediately before they even get the cuffs on them. And they still go do time. Go part about it, but they know they could go do time more safe in a different prison though. You know what I'm saying? Because now they got all these PCRs, ready for them to get there. So yeah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of paperwork nowadays. A lot of people, like I say, people believe that some people are telling and they ain't even on paperwork because because they got so bad with the paperwork that some of the law enforcement be trying to keep some of their people safe by not even putting it on paperwork. Because if it goes on paperwork, it's by law you have access to it, like media, whatever, like anything. You have access to it. It's the law that it's a rule of law, American law, that you can have access to anything that's court papers. So now they so slick to keep some people even off court papers because it's just so much, too many people on that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of that.
Right. So I wanted to ask you. So since you've been out, how have you managed not to go back? Recidivism is a big problem, especially in our community. So how have you been able to avoid falling back into that pitfall?
I've been lucky. I mean, I've had some luck. And I've made better choices. But I've done, been put in a situation where I could have ended up caught up, but I just don't. Like I say, if that, like I say, that helps you stay out of line, stay in line when there's a lot of people running around here like they are. I'm not shocked. Like the dude that just got that got arrested right now, I'm not shocked. And me and him used to get into it all the time because they call me the weirdo now because I don't really I be talking about, saying use your brains, that's some dumb shit or do this or that. They call me the weirdo now because I'm not with that, that ready to go do all this crazy stuff, right? But at the same time, they look up to these persons like this guy, and I'm like, but I'm knowing this dude, but he's a youngster dude, and he young, he running, they letting him have the keys because he's a little younger one, and and they're like, oh, Quake, y'all old now, y'all just let the youngsters do their thing and this and that, and I'm like, y'all just what I'm saying, but I'm like, y'all putting us at risk out here because they getting in beefs with these young dudes from other places. And we like OGs, and we running around, and we be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if these niggas out here started beef at some club or try to rob some weed spot. Then weed spots ran by some LA hoods niggas that I know or whatever. Now they hear that niggas from Rubidoux did it. You know what I'm saying? You doing reckless stuff, so I be out and about. I could be at a function, a fundraiser or any kind of thing going on, or what I'm saying, in LA or whatever. And you exposing me because I ain't know y'all tripping on some shit like that because y'all not letting nobody know what y'all talking about. Oh, y'all can't be running around telling everybody your business because you want nobody to tell and this and that. Then you turn around to be the one that's telling. When the cuss came on, the same person talking about He worried about he don't like letting everybody know this and that because he worried about people telling niggas that are running him out. And I'm like, he fast forward now, so everybody like, oh, you was right, you was right. I mean, I could kind of tell. You just listen to people when they behave, you could kind of tell. I've been around it too long, man. I've been around too many grimy niggas, too long. You can just have a discernment for it. So when they send it, I like, and they like telling me, I said, I'm not shocked. But then I didn't know exactly how he was gonna go about it. Then I see the paperwork and I read it, I'm like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? He was really grimy, you know. And these was his boys, boy. Even though we all from the same hood, everybody don't get along. Everybody don't hang with each other. You know, everybody got their own different age groups and all that kind of stuff. But you know, he didn't just tell on, you know, some you know, off-brand dude. He wouldn't have told on people that he like really ran with, like eating sleep. You know, like that's what I'm saying. You know, motherfuckers is grimy out here. But so that helped me stay out of bullshit. Cause I don't, you know, I just don't trust a lot of people. I just stick to myself, you know. So that helps me stay out of trouble. But it's a struggle out here. Don't get me wrong, because like I don't right now. I'm not working to where I have a like, you know, some a 12-hour shifts like I used to have and all that. Cause I used to be in the weed department. But once they made the recreational, it made it hard for guys like me to be in the weed game because now they want licenses and all this stuff. So now I had to fall back on that, or I go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Or you out get robbed because they knew I was the one that was moving a lot of weed and helping with the white boys grow weed. So now I can get robbed. But now if the same person get robbed, I got to carry guns. Now if I carry guns, I can get pulled over. I'm an ex-felon with a gun. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many different so much. It's like, so I just fell back on it. But now that I fell back on it, I don't make the money like I used to. So I don't have the same revenue coming in. So now it's like, damn, I really got to go like get a job, different kind of job. But it's like, so what, you know, probably go get to a warehouse job or whatever. But it's like, damn, I've been out like them all these years now. So now they say I'm finally off to where they can't do the background check no more. So, but but I don't know if it's legit because I've seen so many people still get, they say they don't ask you about your background check until after you get hired. Then they could go, well, that's the case, you know. So they'll give you a job, and then as soon as they want to get rid of you or whatever, or you finish helping them fill out some orders or something, you work at like a warehouse plant. Soon they finish these orders they needed, they can just go pull up your background check and let you go.
Wow.
So now you gotta be smart and create your own stuff. Like you talking about that YouTube or this and that. But I was like, well, for example, massage therapy. I went to school for that. You know, so that's what that be helping me stay afloat too. Because I went to school for massage therapy. I do the massage therapy thing. Then they turn around and I get the certification. But I try to get my own license. You have to send that to the feds. They wouldn't approve my license because my record. So I have a certification, but I can't get employed at anybody's place because I don't have a license. So now I just do the freelance and do my own massage business. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's a big old game that they play. But it's a lot of entrepreneur stuff and action out here now. So it's just, you know, you got to find your lane. So like I said, I'll be managing artists and doing club events and all that. But I got tired of doing the club events because being in the club events exposed me to a lot of riffraff. You know, because in the club, you know, you got gangs, you got drugs, you got guns, you got all this different stuff. You know, so like, you know, you don't want to be in that atmosphere. So it's like you're trying to navigate where you need to be. So now that's where I'm at. Like I say, just trying to do these different jobs, these little different jobs until I find a, you know, a good niche that's away from all the riffraff. But everybody keep telling me to just move back to Vegas. So I don't know. I might move back to Vegas. Vegas was cool. Vegas, you got a lot of opportunity in Vegas. But it's just, you know, I don't know. So I'm probably move back out there. Like it's my birthday in the night, so I'm gonna go out there next weekend and if I look for an apartment out there. If I find something good, I'll probably just relocate out there because right here, like I said, in the IE, it's like it's just a lot of gang stuff and a lot of people dying right now, a lot of people telling right now, a lot of people catching cases right now, a lot of people getting cases coming back talking about, oh, they dropped all the charges. You know, they dropping charges. They don't drop charges out here. You know what I'm saying? It's weird stuff going out. So, you know, the best is just like get the hell up out of here. That's why I was trying to holler at Ren, seeing if I could go back because start doing that because that's another thing that's been picking up out here too. But I really don't want to do it out here. Is that like youth programs and all that stuff. We've been doing a lot of that lately. So mentorships and all that. But like I say, it's just trying to find your lane and navigating and this being a jack of all trades is basically helping me stay out of prison, basically. Instead of me just tapping out and just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna grab this sack or grab this pistol and just start robbing people or doing, you know, crazy. So that helps you, you know, just doing different stuff and having to just seeing life different. You know, I'd rather be struggling out here than back in prison demand. They could keep that shit, you know. So just stuff like that every day, just taking a deep breath and just staying conscious of, you know, where I came, where I've been. That helps me stay out, basically. That's how, you know, even when times get hard and I fall into depression modes, I still know I don't want to be there. So that's.
Well, brother, it's about all the time we have for the day. Now, I really wish you luck in all that you're doing. You know, you get a good head on your shoulders. And I really enjoyed this conversation. So we might have to do a part 2 to this at some point. There's a lot of good stuff you gave. And
Yeah,
a
I'm
lot
just
more.
rusty. We'd be good. Yeah, we do it again in the future, like I say, because I'm thinking I'm probably start working on that more and start writing more material on it. Because get a book going.
Okay.
I keep procrastinating with that book crap. I should have been had one done already. But yeah, that's cool. I was like, really, I was telling everybody, like, man, I didn't want to talk about that prison shit no more. But they're like, you should just try to see. Cause yeah, cause he was there back in the
All right.
day. I mean, they used to just like have me all drained afterward. But now it wasn't that bad this time around. 'Cause I'm so far removed from it now.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
like yeah, like
Right. So there you have it, YouTube. We just had brother Quake Fisher. You know, he did 17 years, but he's out here maintaining. So, you know, if you need a massage, hit the brother up, you know. So, so you'll be hearing more from him. Like I said, this brother got a lot of info to tell. He was featured in the book Prison Race by Renfrew Reeves. If you happen to see the book, brother Quake has a good piece a good essay in that story. So you're gonna be hearing more from this brother with me. So all right, brother, until next time.
all righty, bro. All right, folks. Yep.
All right. All right.
Hold on.